I'd like to introduce our next speaker. This is Fabio Assolini from the Kaspersky Labs Group, and he's going to be talking to you about some amazing work he's done. Please give him a big hand.
This is Andrew. Andrew is a big friend of mine. He's very passionate about security, but he's a regular IT guy working in an insurance company in Brazil. But he's very passionate about phishing attacks. Actually, Andrew is one of the top submitters of phishing on phishtank.com. Probably you guys know. And all of us here use their feed, their database of phishing domains, phishing URLs. He's one of the top guys every day voluntarily sending new things to PhishTank. And he do it because security is his passion. And he do it actually very, very well. He's very well to report new and fresh phishing attacks. He's so good to do that he received a death threat from Brazilian bad guys. I don't know why. Some phishers discovered his real identity, his email address, his personal data, and sent to him a death threat. It's written in Portuguese, it's full of bad words, but basically it says you will be killed tomorrow. And this is all your personal data, following the message that it's not on the print screen. There were his complete name, his phone, the name of his relatives, number of his documents, and so on. Could you imagine that? Why he received this death threat? Because he was doing a good job trying to protect people. And sometimes we, as defenders, we face this situation. And talking with him about this crazy story, we started a conversation that it was the inspiration of my personal project that I'll present to you today. He did a very honest question to me. Why anti-malware products aren't proactive to block something very simple as a phishing attack? And then my answer was, for sure, we are proactive. We use heuristics, we use reputation, we use blacklists and blah, blah, blah. Then he told me, well, most of the attacks, most of the phishing attacks I found and I report on PhishTank aren't blocked in the beginning by nobody. Zero blocking, zero detection, nothing. He told me, my impression is that nobody cares about this topic. And then my answer to him was, nothing. I know he was right. He was right. And then he asked me, why the security industry are not proactive, doing as the Minority Report movie, as the precogs, predicting the crime. Why you are not proactive? And these questions hurt me inside because I have an answer to him. And the search for such answers was the start of this project I want to share with you today, the Shoot First, Ask Later, proactive strategies to defend the most phished country in the world. Thank you for this opportunity to stay here, and thank you to stay here in this room and not in another room to see my presentation. I'll share with you what we have about this interesting project. Well, we know phishing attack is something very simple, but it's something that works. And 91% of all cyber attacks starts with a simple phishing email. We know that DNC attack started with phishing messages sent to John Podesta. We know big attacks started small with a very simple phishing email. For example, this case reported by Brian Krebs of a bank in Virginia that lost $2.4 million. And the attack starts small with phishing emails. Or the great philosopher of the IT industry on Twitter, the Krug once said, give a man 0 day and he'll have access for life. Teach a man to fish and he'll have access for life. And this is completely true. Because big attacks, sometimes an APT attack, start with a very simple phishing email. And when we talk about phishing, Brazil is the country #1 on our statistics more attacked by this kind of attack. It's in the top. And this is our heat map from 2017. I will show you numbers. Brazil is on the top with Australia and China. Almost 30% of every Brazilian are attacked at least once per year by a phishing message. And now some more numbers about this threat in Brazil. As you can see here, this is from 2017. In 2017, we blocked 36 million phishing attacks only in Brazil. It's an average of 101,000 attacks per day. And this here is the Black Friday. Expected, huh? Let's look for 2018. In the first months of the year, 2018, we already registered the double of attacks. 40 million phishing attacks blocked in Brazil, an average of 222,000 attacks per day. And this one here is the workup. This is the situation in the country, and it's something very interesting. Well, we know very well all the strategies the cyber criminals are using to do their attacks. They use email, they use SMS, they use telephone calls. They use advertisement on Google and Bing as well. They use fake profile on social networks. They hacked websites. And we know how they do it. We know it very well. All of us, we know it. But the attacks more effective. They are creating domains. They buy a domain with a name very similar to the real one. They put a digital certificate there from Let's Encrypt, and then they start the attack. Who registers this kind of domain with a name very similar? Well, domain creators, fishers, regular users, and of course, legit owners. They register as well to protect their brand. That's what they do. And when I tell to everybody that Brazil is the country of the fraud, people laugh like, come on, we have fraud everywhere. And then I'll show some examples that we have there, and the conclusion is, wow, there's a lot of fraud in Brazil. And I'll show you some cases. We have fraud everywhere. Where? Every loyalty program in Brazil, they are phished. For example, gas stations in Brazil, they have a loyalty program. So in the end of 1 year, you have some points and you can earn free gas. These loyalty programs are phished as well because cyber criminals want free gas. Other point, every service of the Brazilian government are phished. This is something really incredible. Especially the health services. The public health services in Brazil, it's phished as well. And cyber criminals want to enter in the system aiming to change the position of some citizens in waiting lists, for example, for a surgery. They do that. Other interesting scenario, data brokers, the legit data brokers in Brazil, they have credit scores for every citizen, the same as here in US. And cyber criminals want to broke, and they did it. They broke their database aiming to change the credit scores of someone else. So this guy will have a good credit to buy things. But the most interesting case for me, some telecoms as well, they are phished because cyber criminals want to do the SIM swap. But the most interesting case for me was phishing against IBAMA. IBAMA is the Government Environment and Nature Institute. They are responsible to control the Amazon forest. and how companies will extract wood from the Amazon forest. And some time ago, I started to see phishing against IBAMA employees. And then I started to wonder, why? Why cyber criminals are phishing this institution from the Brazilian government? And then after 3 weeks, I found out why. They broke into IBAMA system. They entered there and they unlocked 23 companies. These companies, they were previously blocked to extract wood from the Amazon forest. They broke into the system. They unlocked these companies and they were free to extract wood from the Brazilian forest, and they did it. They did it for a long time, and the result was $11 million in wood from the Amazon forest that was extracted illegally, and this wood fill 1,400 trucks with wood, and everything started with a phishing message. Can you see that? That's why we say Brazil is the country of fraud. Fraud everywhere. Everything that is online is phished in Brazil. Well, 58% of all these phishing attacks are against financial institutions. Bank, credit cards, credit unions, and so on. It's natural because cybercriminals want money fast. So 58% of all these attacks are against banks. Okay. So most of the more effective attacks, they started with a domain, as I told you previously. They registering a domain using a name very similar. And look, this is the window of opportunity that we defenders we have. Because between the registration of the domain and the moment that the bad guy will use it for attack, we have a gold window of opportunity that, as far as I know, nobody are using on our industry. And when I decided to start this project, some people told me, come on, APT is more fancy, is more cool. Why do you want to look for phishing attacks? That's something, come on, that affects everybody, for the masses. Why? And actually, my department on Kaspersky, we are like specialized to deal with APT attacks. And I agree, these attacks are out of the box, they are really cool, but we are still missing the basics. I mean, we as defenders, we still have space to improve our phishing detection. And let me tell you in the name of our industry, because I checked detections of the attacks I saw, and oh, it's really bad. Our phishing detection is still really, really bad for the entire security industry, especially from the companies that are providing protection for the endpoint. We have a lot to improve. So that's why, okay, APT is cool, malware is cool, I agree, but we still are missing a lot of opportunities to increase our detections on phishing attacks. So as I told you, we have a golden opportunity between the registration and when the attack really starts. And looking for the whois data, we can see who registered a domain. Okay, so with this idea in mind, we decided in the beginning of 2014, we started this experiment. We decided to monitor all the fresh domains registered on internet using these names. As 58% of all the attacks we saw was against financial institutions, okay, let me track all the new and fresh domains registered using these names. So these are financial institutions, banks, credit cards operating in Brazil and in Latin America. Some of them are very multinational, as Walmart, for example. And we decided to monitor every day. what the new and fresh domains register using these names. And you know, this is the same technique used by brand protection companies such as, I forget their name, but I'll tell you later. It's the same technique. So what the owner of the brand, what they do? Someone registered a domain using my name. Why? So I'll go there, I'll talk with the owner. Why you're using my brand? This is my brand, copyrighted, and so on. So we have companies that offer this kind of brand protection. It's the same idea. So we started to monitor, and we saw things like this. Someone else registered a name using a domain using a name of the Spanish bank, or someone else registered a domain using the name of a very important bank in Latin America. But in the moment that we visit the URL, you see this. Future home of something quite cool. I mean, there is nothing there yet. Because sooner or later, I know in this domain will be something bad. Normally, a phishing page. Okay. Then we decided to collect this lot of data, and then we started to use the Whois database as a reputation and classification tool, using this idea, these criteria. We did a correlation of the email of the registrant. So we have an email address. This guy registered a bunch of domains, and then we started to track everything. We decided to check, for example, if the domain was registered using a free webmail or a temporary mail address. We also checked it for invalid Whois data, especially typos, and if the domain is fresh or not, and the reputation of the hosting server, where the domain was registered. We decided to create this criteria, and the data of these new and fresh domains, we started with dailychanges.com. They offer you a list of new and fresh domains you can find registered every day. And then we decided to play a little bit with typo squaring, and so on. And then we used this tool, Harry, to do string similarity. It's the, I don't know if my German pronunciation is okay, Levsteins distance. We decided to use the Levstein distance and string similarity to find typo squaring domains, and then to complete all the sources of this project, the certificate transparency idea to find new SSL domains, especially on Let's Encrypt. And putting everything together, we did the crazy decision to block all these domains. And then the reaction was very interesting, the reaction, especially from our guys of our anti-phishing team. Like, the first reaction was, what the hell are you doing? Why you blocked this domain? There is nothing there. I visit the domain. There is not. Why did you block it? And then I need to explain. Okay, look, these are using the name of a bank, but the domain was not registered by a bank. And I block it because I know sooner or later something bad will be there. And then they told me, okay, but I think you have legal problems. And then the next reaction was of our legal department. Hello, Fabio. Why are you blocking domains that there is nothing there? In the same explanation. And then after some time, our guys started to see the good results and the outstanding results we get. And then they realized that this was a good technique. This was something good. But the reaction was very, very interesting in the beginning. And then we decided to block everything. No matter who registered. If it's using a brand trademark of a bank or a credit card company, we block it. So 5 years shooting first, then fishers. These are the results. These are the first results we get. $100,000 phishing domains blocked in advance. Well, false positive, of course, we have, but very low rate, less than 1%. And actually, this was very effective, not only against phishing domains, but also against malware domains. And also some APT campaigns that they used the same idea. For example, there is a lot of bad domains registered using the name Windows Update. There is a lot. And we decided to block it as well. And when we realized, wow, this is blocked, but who did it? Fabio, why you block it? Well, I block it because it's using the name Windows Update. It do not belong to Microsoft. Simple. So it was very effective, and I'll show you some results. For example, this domain, I blocked it in March 13, and after 3 days, the guys from Netcraft that are dedicated to find and block phishing, they found it after 3 days, and it arrived on our database, but the website was already there because we blocked it in advance. Another good, interesting case, 13 days in advance. I blocked it on February 25, and our robot from our anti-phishing guys found it on March 11, after 13 days. Or this case, after 15 days, I blocked it on February 20, and our robot found this domain used in a phishing attack on March 7. And of course, there are the most common behavior from phishers and cyber criminals. They register a bunch of domains, and they started to use 1, 2, 3, or 4 domains in their first attacks. They start to burn these domains of the bunch they registered, but some of them are very lazy. For example, this case here. The guy registered a domain in June, and we blocked it in June 12, but he decided to use the domain after 4 months, in October. And when he started the attack, everything was already blocked in advance. You don't need so much, you don't need to do so much things. It's this simple. Very simple, but it's strong connected to the language of the phishing attack. Let me give you one example. We are monitoring a name of banks, and in Portuguese is banco, but in Spanish is banca, and in French, banque. If you use these keywords, you find a lot of badness in your daily feed of new and fresh domains registered. You find a lot of things. And as far as I know, nobody on our industry are using this data to perform proactive protections. And now we realized that we were doing the good thing when this case arrived in my hands, and I'll show you. This case is very, very, very interesting. There is a group of phishers in Brazil. They are very, very organized. They do phishing only against big corporations, only. And they do it over telephone. They call the company. They presented himself as employee of a bank or employee of something important, and they ask to call with the financial director. And then, talking with this financial director, they ask him to visit a specific website because they are from the bank and they need to do something with the bank account. And they are very smart because the phishing domain they were using, it's on only in the moment of the call. If you try to access it before or after the call, it's not available. And they are very smart because they do a lot of filtering. So only a range of IP from this company will see the content of the domain. And every other access from other IPs will see nothing. So they do IP filtering. And it's very, very targeted. And against this attack, it's quite hard to protect because it's something very, very targeted. And when this case arrived in my hands, it was approved to me that we were doing the good thing. We were doing a good approach to protect our customers. I'll share with you. I have the recording of the guy on the phone. Yeah, I have the recording, and I'll show you. So let me detail the case. This fraudster, he called a health insurance company, our customer in Brazil, on December 7. And in the recording, he asked the financial director to enter in a specific website, as I told you previously. And then this specific, the fraudster presented himself as employee of the Santander Bank. Santander is a very important bank in Latin America. They are from Spain. They have also operations here in US. He asked the financial director to visit this domain, santanderagencia.com. This domain was registered on December 2. The call was in December 7. We blocked this domain on December 3 by the morning. We blocked it. And I'll show you right now the recording of the fraudster calling with the financial director, trying to convince her to enter in the website. But the website was already blocked. The audio is in Portuguese, but don't worry, you see subtitles in English, and you understand everything. Let's see it.
Alô?
Bom dia, senhora Roseli?
Pois não?
Aqui quem fala é Marcos, da Central de Atendimento Santander Empresarial novamente. Tudo bem com a senhora?
Tudo bem, e você?
Tudo ótimo. Senhora Roseli, a senhora conseguiu verificar com o Lucas para fazer a liberação do link?
Ele fez a liberação aqui, porque ele já até saiu da empresa já. Foi para Ribeirão Preto, então ele deixou liberado aqui. Mas aí eu entro lá, www.santanderagencia.com.
Isso, exatamente. Creio eu que a senhora não estava conseguindo antes, devido a central só entrar em contato, né, após as 10 e as 11 horas. A senhora quer tentar agora?
Vou tentar, mas...
Ok.
Olha que ele...
Creio eu que abrir para a senhora, né?
Não, até a hora ele falou que tinha desbloqueado e não tinha nada na página.
Certo. Certo. A senhora está pelo Google Chrome?
Não, estou no equipe... Peraí, então, deixa eu ver se consigo abrir o outro.
Isso, tenta pelo Chrome. Geralmente o Chrome a gente sempre faz os agendamentos tudo ok, né?
Tá.
O www.santanderagencia.com.
Vamos ver. Mas aparece assim, ó, não é possível acessar esse site?
Certo, a senhora tentou pelo Google Chrome, né?
Isso.
Só confirma o link para mim, o
Santanderagencia.com, isso.
Certo. A senhora quer tentar pelo Mozilla, só para a gente tirar essa dúvida?
Vixe, esse eu não tenho aqui baixado.
Né?
Não tenho.
Certo. O Santander Agência, a senhora digitou tudo junto, né?
Tudo junto, www.santanderagencia.com.
Sem o BR, né?
Não, sem BR.
As you can see, the fraudster tried everything. Use Google Chrome, use Mozilla, but our product blocked the website. Actually, these fraudsters, they registered more than 30 phishing domains. using the name of banks in Latin America, and all of them block it in advance. We can do that. It's simple. We have the technology, we are smart, we have the data, we can do that. And that these are the outstanding results we are having on phishing attacks in Brazil that I'm sharing with you today. We as an industry, we can use the same idea and the same technique worldwide to protect our customers, people that trust on our products, trust on our technologies. We can do that. But we are not. Because when I check one of the websites of this gang, of these fraudsters on VirusTotal, only Kaspersky are blocking it. Okay, I know VirusTotal is not a tool to check that. I know it. I know very well. But come on. We can do it. They are using the name of banks, big corporations, and of course these affect the regular user and companies as well. Okay, but what was the reaction of the bad guys? Can you think they saw it? Okay, they are blocking. Of course, they reacted. The first reaction was new phishing domains in Unicode. So we started to see domains like this, whatsapp.com, with very strange characters, very strange letters. Or this one here, this is a cryptocurrency exchange with some crazy characters. Or this one here as well. And everything is phishing, but all in Unicode. Not only using Unicode strings, but also digital certificates in the phishing domain. This one was very clever, very, very clever against a Brazilian bank. When you check the digital certificate, you see the correct URL. It was their strategy to continuing attack users, and that's what they are doing right now. Because if you monitor, if you use the keyword of the name of the bank and they change some character, you know. The result, you will not see this phishing domain. And another very interesting reaction from bad guys was this case. Look to this URL. It's very, very rare, very strange. Look to this URL. When you put your eyes there, you think, this is IPv6. But are you all in IPv6? No, it's not exactly IPv6. It's a hybrid model that browsers accept nowadays. It's a hybrid between IPv6 and IPv4. If you want to know more, RFC 4038 there. And we started to see phishing and malware attacking such this one, with this crazy URL. But of course, it's not very, very effective, because when a regular user, when they saw this URL, they look, no, this is strange. It's not so effective as using a domain. Okay, everything was cool. We are blocking everything, and then a big tragedy. GDPR happened. A big tragedy to our project. Then we started to see who is data such. This one, knock knock, who is not there? Or this one, GDPR masked, everything masked. So, oh my goodness, it's our end. What can I do right now? Okay, now our challenge is to do it without the WHOIS. Of course, the WHOIS, this GDPR project was a big impact on the WHOIS database. We are still waiting the guys from ICANN to do something, but nothing so far. It was a big impact. We don't have more emails to do the correlation. No more emails. But it's still possible to block based on the name guessing. It's risky, I know. It's very risky, but it is still possible, and we are doing that. I think I can tell you in the end of the year, our false positive rate will increase a little bit. And also it's still possible because there is a field in the WHOIS data called registrant organization, and this data can reveal who is the owner of the domain. I'll show you later one example. We are looking for alternatives, and good ideas are welcome. Okay, we think to ask the owner of the brand, but it takes a lot of time to contact the correct people asking, hey, did you register this domain? Or we tried to create a database of legit domains, but this is something very huge to do and time consuming as well. What we are using right now, passive DNS. Okay, we have here a new domain. Where is it registered? Oh, where is it hosted? So we are using passive DNS in a way. So this is the registrant organization. For example, these .app domains, they belong to Google, and a lot of fishers are putting their domains there. Like we have there, Itaú is a big bank in Latin America, and everything is redacted for privacy, redacted for privacy, redacted for privacy. But we have in the middle the registrant organization that is someone else. It's a girl. It's not the bank. So block it. Okay, to conclude my presentation in a nutshell. Brazil topped the rankings of phishing attacks worldwide on our statistics. And I believe the reason is due to this technique. We are blocking a lot of bad things. And while we are with this project, Brazil remains in the top. Some attacks are very local. I mean, do you remember I told you they are very linked to the language? So, for example, for me, it will be a little hard to do the same with in China because I don't speak Chinese, but it's very connected to the language, so you need some locals or people that speak the language that you want to monitor. This brand monitoring thing, it's good to find this new and fresh domains using some name of a brand. The GDPR can be a problem. But we are still blocking, and we are looking for alternatives to continue with this good project. And I personally think our industry, we can do the same. We can do the same to protect our users. We can do the same to boost our phishing detection. Not only phishing, but malware as well, and everything that use the same idea of bad domains using good names. You can, some guys in our industry already realize that this is something good to do. And I want to call everybody here to do the same in your products with your technology. We can increase and get very good results as I show you today. Okay, thank you very much for your attention, and I think, thank you very much. Thank you. And I think we have time for questions, Nate?
Yep, we got 10 minutes.
Good.
It was a great talk. Thank you. So isn't the real solution, though, to block this using the same techniques you're talking about at the registration time rather than after the fact? Because only your customers are protected, right?
I agree. We try to do it as soon as the domain is registered. I mean, we receive a feed of new and fresh domains. We receive it twice per day. We do a filtering in this. It's a huge database of new and fresh domains every day. We do a filtering with the keywords we are monitoring, and then we program our robot to block it automatically.
Why does the registrar let these get registered in the first place? Isn't that what's really broken here?
Okay, it varies according to the country, but I'll tell you what's going on in Brazil. I talked with the guys from the Registro BR, and they told me according to local law, they can't forbidden people to register a new domain. Like they have the right to register it, and they can do something after some company, some security company send them a abuse report. Like they are using this name is mine, but they can't avoid or forbidden people to register a new domain. In the first moment, I think this is connected to some local legislation. And it depending on the country, it can vary. More questions?
Yep. Awesome presentation.
Thank you.
And kudos to you for pushing through legal to make this happen. I know that can be a big challenge. That's a great success. I just have a couple of questions about how it was implemented. Did you block these domains for all Kaspersky customers, or did you limit the blocks to those that you knew were in Brazil because you knew that was the most vulnerable population?
Okay, good question. Initially, we started small, like nobody trusted me, like, what are you doing? Are you sure you want to block this domain? There is nothing there. And then we started small, and we saw the results. Right now, we are automated. I mean, we do this automatically, blocking the domain, and it's distributed to all our customers of all products, mobile, endpoints, servers, and so on. Because we achieved some very good results, and the guys decided to do it, or to block these domains worldwide. So we don't have like a separate database for Brazilians and like detection databases for Brazilians and for Argentinians and so on. We have only one, and we are doing it worldwide right now.
And do you have the similar analysis for other countries, or is it just Brazil right now?
Okay, right now we are using these techniques with 4 languages. And why languages? Because as I told you, this is something very linked to language. We are using with brands in Portuguese, Spanish, French, and Italian. Our plan is to expand for more languages. With English as well, we did some tests, but right now we are in these languages.
Awesome.
Our idea is to expand.
Thank you.
Thank you. More questions?
Appreciate the slides here. So a question, are you doing anything with hashing the images of those, those sites that say new and exciting website coming? That way you can start looking for that as a pattern, or even shoving the data that you're finding into something like urlscan.io and then hunting those image hashes, looking for those new domains, and then setting your block on that.
Okay, good idea. We are not using it, but what we are doing is when we found some attack very fresh, I mean, against a new brand, or a very first time that we saw this phishing attack, we save the page, a copy of the page, and we send to our guys on anti-phishing to improve our heuristic detection that we are using as well, but not using the service that you told. But it's a good idea. I can check it later.
Awesome. I'll send you an email.
Okay.
Hello. Hi. Thanks for the... Here.
Okay. Hi.
Thanks for the wonderful talk. I was wondering, what was your false positive rate at the beginning when you started blocking those domains? And how did you deal with your legal team at the beginning when you didn't have those promising results to validate your thought process?
Sorry, say again, but slowly. I'm sorry.
No problem. So I was thinking, what was your false positive rate at the beginning when you started blocking those domains? And the second question is, how did you deal with your legal team in the beginning when you did not have, these promising results to validate your thought process?
Okay. Well, initially the false positives rates was a bit high. It was like in the first look, it was 7%. It was high. So we tried to improve things, and we did it. And the cases were of the false positives I saw, they were like very, very specific, and the impact was not big. initially, but then we were improving our technique, and right now it's less than 1%. About the legal thing, it was like a friend question sent to them, like, are you sure what are you doing? I mean, it was more in the position like, are you sure nobody will sue us because you are blocking this domain, there is nothing there? Then like I gave them, I explained it to them, I explained it to them the data we had. Like, I think for this, and this reason, this will be something malicious. And after some times, we saw the result, and that, like, they were satisfied with the answer. But it can be a problem in the beginning of some companies as well. Of course, depend on legislations and so on. But in our case, the good results was the best answer. More questions?
Hey, Fabio.
Hey.
Thanks for the presentation. I'm from Brazil, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I just had a few questions about, like, so are you guys using solely, like, your data, the data that you guys are captured? Because you mentioned that, like, in the beginning, Fish Tank. I used to be at OpenDNS, and they had a very similar approach to block, like, bad domains.
Good.
So do you guys use like other sources to like aggregate the data, or is mostly the data you guys are harvesting as well?
No, we had a plenty of phishing sources, not only Fish Tank. We have a lot. But this technique was good because we realized that we were checking the effectiveness of all the sources we had. This one was the most effective in the case of Brazilian phishing. So, like, we measured one of them. We measure each source of phishing that we receive. Fish Tank is one of them, and then we realized that this source of the brand monitoring thing was the most effective. I mean, the first one to detect a fresh phishing domain and block it. So right now we are applying such idea to all the sources that we receive. And this is interesting because you need to tweak the technique because it's seasonal. I mean, during the World Cup, you see more phishing attack related to the World Cup. Or during the Olympics, it's the same. So you need to tweak the keywords that you are filtering during the year. For example, right now, I'm monitoring special the Black Friday keyword for attacks related to the Black Friday that it will happen in some months. So you need to tweak, but in all the resources that we are receiving, Fish Tank is one of them. These were the most proactive.
Okay, and just a follow-up question. And you guys are not blocking through DNS, right? You guys are blocking through signatures?
We are blocking on our cloud protection.
On the cloud
actually,
protection,
we are blocking on a two-way. The first one are on our cloud detection because it's faster than others. And for customers that are not using our cloud protection, we are blocking in our database.
Okay, locally on each.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly, to do a local blocking. Because some customers decide to not use the cloud protection.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
More questions?
Hi, thank you so much for your talk. Over here. Sorry.
Hello.
I guess saying over here doesn't help much. But I was just curious, how do you actually go about detecting false positives? Does the domain owner have to contest it and let you know that you blocked their site? Or how do you actually know when you've blocked a valid site?
Okay. About false positives. The false positive sometimes happens with a very specific keyword. I'll give you one example. Try to explain to you. We have a big government bank in Brazil called Caixa, and Caixa in Portuguese also means box. So you need to take care with all the new domains registered with the keyword Caixa, because sometimes you will block a website of a company selling boxes. So for some very specific keywords, you need sometimes a human approval, like, okay, these are all the domains with the name Caixa. Okay, this is related with the bank, this is not. An example, CaixaUpdate.com. Okay, update the bank account, so phishing. Or newboxesforsale.com. Oh, this is related to the boxes. So for some very specific keywords, you need to tweak your technique, but it works very well with another brands, especially when the brands are very unique. I mean, you have this brand, this is something very, very unique that worldwide you will not see it and nothing more. For example, Bradesco, another big Brazilian bank, you will not see it. It's always related to the bank. Or Santander is a keyword with problem as well, because we have cities with the name Santander. So in the beginning, our false positives was related with the websites of the mayors of the city of Santander and so on. So you need to do a special tweak. And for some cases, you need human approval. It can be, you need to tweak the technique, but it still works. Okay? You're welcome. More questions?
Yep. 1, 2. Thanks for the talk.
Thank you.
All of my friends and relatives, they basically trust the website if they see this, like a green lock, which tells it's secure, right?
Yeah.
And phishers just started to issue Let's Encrypt free certificates for the websites to get more trust from the users.
Yes.
So just a suggestion, even though you don't have the access in some cases to whois database, and you don't really see who actually registered the domain, how about checking? So since this information is public, how about checking the new certificates that was issued by Let's Encrypt Certification Authority and correlated with the keywords like
we are doing
banks
that.
Or I don't know if you're already doing that or not. But
Yes, we are doing that because we have some sources, fresh domains, and the certificate transparency. They have feeds of, especially Let's Encrypt, that is most popular today to issue new digital certificates. So we do the same. Like, these are all the new domains that requested a SSL certificate with Let's Encrypt. Okay, let me filter all this big list with the keywords I'm monitoring and block it. So the same idea we are using, and we need it because, as you told, a lot of phishing domains with digital certificates, and this can be a problem because the regular user are mixing things, think, oh, this website have a green lock, so it's okay, but in fact it's not. More questions?
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, Fabio, great presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Actually brings good memories because a few years ago I was doing the same research for Australia Postal Service phishing. I was ransomware attacks, and it worked really great. A couple of questions for you. The first one is, do you find challenging that for some TLDs you cannot easily get the new domain registration feeds? Like .com is easy, but some geographies will not actually tell you which domains have been registered. And the second question is, did you find an S-record correlation, like name server, IP, for those domains to be the useful signal to make decisions?
Okay, first question. Yes, for some registrant companies, it's quite hard to obtain the list. But I can tell you later some companies that provide us the list of new and fresh domains. We have 2 or 3 of them in the market that they are very good. You can obtain this list freely on dailychanges.com. It's not very complete, but it can be a start, like to establish the project. But we have like 2 or 3 companies that are providing us this list every day, and their visibility are really good. And the other question? Sorry? Oh, yes, the name server. This is something very interesting because phishers put all their bad websites all together at the same server. So, okay, I find one from this one, you'll find all of them together at the same server. And this is something amazing because you can block everything. And you can do it automatically, but right now we are facing this problem because I think this is due to GDPR. We are facing some problems to see all the websites hosted at the same server. Sometimes this information are not available easily, but it's a good way to improve detections. Okay.
Hey, Fabio. Right here. Straight.
Hey.
Hey, this is Kunal from Intel Corporation. So I was wondering if you are extending your research for things like fake news. And I'm also interested to know, how do you go about blocking a domain who is just serving some kind of steganographic stuff which happened during Korea games? And so what are all the factors that you consider, and can you extend that for fake news as well?
Mm-hmm. No, we are not looking for fake news or so on. The project is started, and till this moment we are focused on financial institutions right now. So I don't know, maybe in the future we can expand to look in other areas. We started with government organizations and financial institutions, brands and names. Maybe in the future, I don't know, let's see. But it's a possibility as well. Actually, interesting, we are right now in election time in Brazil, and I started like 2 weeks ago to look for new domains using the name of the politicians there, and I found very interesting things there. I can talk right now. What exactly? We are investigating. Okay, more questions?
Well, actually, I think we are running out of time because we got to get everybody out and in who wants to switch rooms. Thank you again. Please give a big hand to Fabio.
Thank you very much. Thank you.